We are now joined all the way from LA, no less, by a great friend of mine and no stranger to the events industry. It's freestyle rapping supremo himself, Mr. Chris Turner.
I love performing in the UK, but I think the way I perform with my my comedy and my freestyle rap over here, LA is like the home of hip hop and comedy, if you think about it, and it's worked out really nicely. I'm having a great time. I will be back in England eventually. I don't want to be like some, American. I don't want to send my kids to school here. There are far too many firearms, but that is not a fun topic to discuss.
Have you started to get a twang yet in the accent?
Sometimes I go home and my friends will be like, "Oh, you're even sounding American," and I die inside just a little bit, just a little. So I'm really going to hit my T's properly. I'm really going to, I'll even English it up a little bit. Sometimes I do on stage, just walking on and just being like, "Oh, good evening, God save the Queen." Americans love that. Those Yanks, they're suckers for an accent.
They love an accent, they do. And the last time I went to the States, I spoke to somebody and they went, "Oh my God, you've got an accent. I wish I had an accent." It was like, believe me, you do. You really, really do. So, what we're doing here, you are going to be doing a rap for us at the end. Is that right?
I will, yeah. So obviously everyone watching is able to interact with their questions. You're able to submit questions. I'd like you to use that, not right now, but I'd like you to use it when the time comes to submit inspiration for the rap. So words, topics, phrases. If you've seen me before, you'll know I prefer rapping not about food or animals because they're just very kind of boring and obvious. I prefer more out there suggestions. So the best suggestion at a show in the last 6 months was in Hamburg in Germany, and a man said, "A day in the life of an Aztec high priest." So you can really aim for that intellectual fortitude. So I'll let you know when to start sending those in. Obviously don't, just get thinking about them. I want you guys to focus on your food and your quiz as well, but we need those to give the fuel for the rap that's coming.
Great. What did you rap with Aztec high priest? God,
I talked a lot about sacrifices. It was they sat there amused, not outwardly entertained, because Germans,
Yeah, sure. Enough said.
I did bring seeing as we were showing off our tequila bottles, I'm a big tequila fan. This is my poshest bottle of tequila. I can thoroughly recommend if you're a fan of tequila. The one you had is super posh. That's Cristalino and Yejos. That's like old tequila that has no color to it, which is super wild. This is old tequila that has color to it. I did not buy this myself. I met someone who worked for the brand. I said, "I like tequila." And she said, "I'll send you a bottle." And then they sent me this. And it was such an expensive gift. I kind of regret that I shared it with some of my friends who just did a shot and went, "Yeah, that's good." I was like, "What are you doing? You're meant to sip it and imbibe it gently." Still, I mean, it tastes like tequila, doesn't it? It tastes like that. It tastes like nights out when you were sick afterwards.
You've definitely made it then, Chris, if you can just ask for stuff and get it.
It's pretty cool. Because sometimes they're like, "Oh, and can you talk about it on social media?" But sometimes they just go, "No, here's some tequila." And that's when you realize, oh, these are multi-million-dollar companies. And so a bottle of tequila is nothing to them.
I must try that little chat with the owners of Maserati. See how that goes down. I'd love a little Maserati.
Right. Oof. Yeah, I remember I did an advert for Toyota, for the Toyota Aygo with friends of yours, I assume, because they're Bristol boys. And did the Comedia in Brighton a lot, which you're frequently there. The Noise Next Door, we did an improvised commercial for Toyota Aygo, and at the end of it, we were all like, "Can we have a Toyota Aygo?" They're like, "No." But they cost like 10 grand. Surely you could afford like 5 Toyota Aygos. They were like, "No, that's not how it works." So disgraceful.
LA's better for that. So submit your answers, click on it and submit. And now before we go back to Chris, I need you to all send in your suggestions.
I'm coming in.
I can't use my hand. Where is my hand? You can tell I've never done this before. I'm using my hand like it's one of those sort of fairground things to pick up a claw thing. Suggestions below, yes. Suggestions below as to words, etc. that Chris can use in his rap, please. And how are you keeping yourself entertained, Chris, during these
I'm doing a lot of virtual raps. That's been my main thing. I've been very fortunate to kind of quickly pivot into virtual college gigs. I've been like Zoom bombing companies. So I kind of turn up in their meetings, do a rap and then leave. As a commercial thing, I'm not doing it out of the goodwill of my heart. I'm doing it to keep the very expensive Los Angeles lights on. But it's been pretty busy in that way. But I miss live performance. I miss like going out on a Friday night, playing the shows, and then hanging out with other comedians. I miss that quite a lot. But yeah, it's keeping me busy and keeping me stopping wasting too much time playing video games as well.
So you're one person that's actually quite happy with the current situation.
Yeah, it'd be great if this never ends, actually. Like, keep the hospitals filling. Let's all stay inside. I could just stand here and be like, oh, comedy.
Because the clubbing, the comedy circuit is very different out in the States, isn't it? To the UK as well. I mean, you must have found that.
Yeah, I mean, I really love it. I love audiences here. I think the difference between the US and the UK comedy audiences, and I felt this because I was back in the UK at Christmas time, did some shows at Comedia, which is like my favorite club. And you'd notice that in America, when you walk on stage, the audience are there being like, whoa, I hope this guy's funny. They want to have a good night. Whereas in the UK, people are going, oh, this guy better be funny. Like they're kind of pessimistic rather than optimistic. They're like, oh, make me laugh then. And that's not the mindset you want for a comedy audience. You want them, like people go on Americans for building up and bigging up and being enthusiastic. Like the actor be like, this next act is the best comedian you've ever seen. He's been on Letterman, Carson, Leno, please welcome. And then it's just some person who's a comedian. But it does get the crowd excited in a way that I feel British crowds don't. That's not to say British crowds are worse. I think it becomes a bit easier over here, and so there's a lot of lazy comedy because American comedians just be like, hey, why don't we salute the troops? And the audience will go,
does make us better. So have you got words coming in? Have you got suggestions coming in? Anything there you can see, Chris?
Oh, I didn't even look. I was distracted by hoping my expensive bottle of tequila didn't fall on the floor. I'm not even going to look at them properly. I just want to check the stuff coming in. Oh, there is. There's loads coming in. I'm not going to look at them now, but we've got them coming in. So that's perfect.
Lovely. So how long do you need to put something together?
Are we not doing? I do it immediately. Sorry, I thought there was like an animation or a pause before I do it. Are we doing it now?
There is a little bit of animation. There is a little bit of so. When I come back to you.
Great. I will pick words out in that pause, and then I will get ready to drop a beat on you guys.
So we're back. And we're going to head back to LA, where Mr. Chris Turner is going to, what do you say, drop a rap?
Yeah, I'm going to bust out some sick rhymes. So I've taken 4 suggestions from the ones that were sent in. They were, and I've written them down so you can all see. Someone said Zoom first date, which was, I think, pretty relevant. Isolation irritation, toddler tantrums, specifically in quarantine, and Trump bleach. That was probably the most common suggestion, was people saying bleach or Trump bleach in some form. So I'm going to take one more from you, Zoe, to kind of add it in for an even more live in the moment one. And I'm sure people will trust us when they say that we didn't prep this in advance. So what would you like me to add?
Doing this, so no, exactly. I'm going to give you something that I've had trouble finding in the last week. It's baking powder.
It's impossible, isn't it? It's impossible.
Yeah. Every man and his dog is doing muffins.
Oh, just banana bread, left, right, and center. Brilliant. Okay. These are some great suggestions. Let me put the top back on my Sharpie, lest it dry out. Right, I'm going to put these here so that you all can follow along. Not that it will necessarily go in that order. Let's hope they don't drop down. Right, that is my last bit of sticky tape, so I'm really rationing it there. This, lovely people, enjoying your burgers and your wine. It's going to be a freestyle rap. That is a rap made up on the spot, based entirely on those suggestions. It's never been seen before. It'll never be seen again. Please don't worry. Won't be anywhere near as atrociously, embarrassingly bad as you're expecting a privately educated, middle-class white boy to be. So let's drop this beat and let's have some fun with this. lift the lockdown. I can't wait to go to a restaurant for my date. Still, I'm hungry, a dating thirst. Wanna make sure I get a date, it's the first one. I can't be in the same room, so I gotta chat to a pretty lady on Zoom. You might assume I'm gonna seal the deal. I can't kiss her at the end of the meal. We order from the same takeaway. The date's going so well, but I'd hate to say at the end of the night, I say to her face, do you wanna come back to my place? She says, okay, but it's my bad. I just carry her to my bed on an iPad, smush it together, we get such pleasure. After this, we're gonna endeavor to get out of isolation. Can't wait, it is annoying. I hate all the irritation that is applied to my mental health. I'm like, where are my beans on the shelf? Where's my pasta? Where is all the sauce? It's gone. I'm so irritated. I abhor anybody that says stay inside and then walks out there. They provide no mask, no covering on the sidewalk. See a little child, why do you talk at me when I'm trying to work from home? Running around, yeah, toddlers roam. They're throwing tantrums when they can't outside play with their friends. I try and be snide and explain to them, but they're only 3, so of course they don't understand me. I'm like, kids, calm down, I know you want fun, but you gotta listen to your dad and listen to your mum. You gotta know that we can't go out to the beach. What are you doing? Don't drink that bleach. Little toddler with weird insteps says, no, maybe I can inject into my arm or into my rump. Who told you to do this? Donald Trump. Put it injected inside your lungs. What are you doing, Donald? It's really gonna have stung if you get it in. Admission to A&E is rising up exponentially because you reached out. Everybody, each of them said get bleach and you need it often. Put it in there. Oh, me oh my. UV from a UV light going into your bloodstream. That's not fine, although technically it is a treatment for Lyme disease, but that is more alternative. Last one, I've never even heard of it in the shelves on the supermarket, and I would rather get baking soda or baking powder. I'm really struggling. Yeah, such a palaver. I call up my grandmother and father and say, have you got any in your cellar? They say, oh yes, we're a very wise fellas. We stocked up before this whole thing started. Here's a little cake, here's a little muffin. We can share it all round with you. I need some baking powder and I'm getting into alkali and mix it with the vinegar. That's the reaction that happens when it's in there. There you go. Some stills coming live from LA.
Live from LA, my friend, Mr. Chris Turner, freestyling, rap, dropping it like a, I don't know, I'm an old lady, I don't know what you drop it like, a scone, hot potato, but very, very good. Brilliant, mate, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so very much for taking time out and being part of this.
Oh, and thank you guys for all doing it, and for everyone for watching. Lovely. Look after yourself.